Hey everyone, Shadowwraith back again, this time with a quick guide for Warlock Solo Flawless Master Presage. I'm so sorry about the Warlock Bond, I completely forgot to change the shader before I jumped in here and started recording. Anyway, we're going to be running Bottom Tree Void Walker Attunement of Hunger for Devour, and then we have 7 Seraph Officer Revolver for Warmind Cells, and then highly recommend running Truthteller with Blinding Grenades and Auto-Loading Holster here, huge for closing the cap, and then the Lament for high DPS. On our artifact, we're going to be running Passive Guard. That helps us with survivability. And then armor mods, we're going to be running Protective Light, Supercharge for extra stacks of Charged with Light, and then Taking Charge and Double Solar Resist. I would actually change one of these Solar Damage Resist to a Concussive Dampener, Shield Break Charge, and then lastly on our Bond, we've got Passive Guard again, and Global Reach for the Warmind Cells. A couple quick notes. Protective Light, hugely helpful in this, helps you survive. If you're not running Protective Light, you can totally still do it, but it'll be a little more difficult. Second thing is Blinding Nades. Since you can't go invisible on Warlock, Blinding Nades are absolutely huge for this. Alright, jumping into the Jumpy puzzle, there's a couple ways around this area. You can either jump up here, grab onto this, and then keep going upwards, or you can drop down below it and jump onto this little outcropping here, and then up onto the ledge. That skips you having to go underneath and then backtrack up. And then this next area, the easiest way I found is to jump high with Warlock and then hit jump again as you're falling down to the platform. And then you can get into that little hole pretty easily. You can also use the sword, and that makes it fairly simple as well. And then jumping through this next area of the vents, I'm not going to commentate the entire route. You can just follow the video, but I'll try to give you some overall hints and tips and tricks. The first major one is I would not recommend trying to do this under light. We're at the end of the season. Hopefully you're at light or close to light. If you have to do it under light, it's going to be a little more difficult, but still doable. All right, next tip is that each class has its own strength. So invisibility for hunters is huge in this one. I'm running Devour on Warlock. Warlocks are very good at healing themselves. You get the Rifts, you get Devour, you could use Well of Radiance as well. So Warlocks have that going for them. And then Titans, you've got a lot of damage buffs. You've got your Barricade in case you get in trouble. I would say Titan is probably the hardest to do, at least in my opinion. Hunter was fairly simple. Warlock, this was actually my second run on Warlock because I forgot to switch some of the mods out on the first run. So Warlock is not too bad either. It will probably take several attempts just to get the route down and understand where the ads spawn and what to avoid and what not to avoid. The reason this Warlock run only took me 2 attempts was because I had run a bunch of times on Hunter. So if you haven't seen that guide and you want to run it on Hunter, you can check the description and I'll try to link it in there. But for Warlock, Devour worked the best for me just because I had to worry the least about sorting through a ton of ads. And then you'll see a couple areas in the next section where if I hadn't had Devour, I'd have been in serious trouble. Another note is when I was going through armor mods earlier, I'm running double solar resist here because it makes the boss fight fairly simple. But I would recommend switching one of those to a concussive dampener for this reason. The Screebs, when they hit you, don't get the damage reduction from solar resist. So if you swap one concussive dampener in, that'll help against Screebs, and it will also reduce the damage that fire does to you, I believe. So keep that in mind. Highly recommend running one concussive, one solar resist. And then I didn't fully optimize the Screeb locations here. Like there, I could have saved a little time by like tossing a nade earlier. But it's not too bad. Generally, I try to jump over the Screebs just to save time, since the timing on this mission is fairly tight. All right, jumping down into the trash compactor. Try to gain as much speed as you can coming down this ramp and jump right at the end. I did not do it quite right. Usually, you can launch yourself over halfway across the room. On Titan, you can almost make it all the way to the wall. And then when you first activate this, immediately check these first couple for the fuses. That was nice because I got one right there. I don't know if one can actually spawn all the way on that left side, but then I always check the farthest to each side. So there's the left and the rights that I checked. I'm like, okay, as the walls come in, those are the ones you have to hit early. I popped that vent just so I remember where it is, but I've got Screeb, so I'm trying not to stay on the ground too much. Just keep bouncing around. And again, right there, like it would have been tough. If I had concussive dampener running, I think I would have been in much better shape there. once you pop the 3 fuses, drop down, and then this is the first place you're going to find ads. I typically like starting over here on the left side of the room, and then I'll kill this like void shielded chieftain, pop Devour, use a blinding nade, and then kill him with a sword. You'll see I actually almost died there because the first sword attack didn't hit him. Then I blind this sniper in the back. Highly recommend taking out these snipers first after you kill that first chieftain, because they will like 2-shot you. Then you can just sword your way again with Devour. This is super simple. You just keep sorting your way through everything and you'll die. Drop another blinding nade to pop the void shield and continue on. You get a lot of grenades here. I drop another blinding nade just to play it safe. Probably not necessary. And there we go. I meant to sword that guy, but accidentally swapped weapons. So just over 5 minutes going through that part and the Jumpy puzzle. I messed up the jump there and ran into the ceiling. This next area, one of the comments on my previous video said if you don't kill the stuff on top, it won't respawn after you kill one of the abominations. So I'm using that strategy here. Thanks for that comment, because that actually does save some time. It just means you have to take cover under the bridge. If you go too far out of under the bridge, it can start shooting you. So again, use a blinding nade to blind these guys and give myself a little bit extra time. Do the same thing over here. Blind these guys, and it blinds all 3 plus the solar chieftain. And then you can see charge with light there from the shield break charge. One important note for those solar chieftains, sometimes if you're using the powered attack, like the revved blade, it won't proc shield break charge. So you probably want to hit the solar chieftains with just a normal light attack non-revved blade, and then that'll ensure you get the charge with light from breaking the shield. Kill one abomination with a super and then sword it down. Again, use a blinding nade just to get some cover. Somehow it did not blind this guy, I'm not quite sure how. Finish him off. Finish off everything else around here. You can see Devour doing work. Like, I'm really not having to heal a whole lot. Drop another blinding nade. Finish these guys off. Finish off the solar chieftain. And then now be careful killing this abomination, because there are still the snipers up top. And if you go out too far, like I mentioned earlier, they'll be able to shoot you. So I drop a rift just for the sake of safety. And then you can block the abomination's attacks too. Does almost no damage. Now the chieftains jump down, so it's a little bit sketch. I'm trying to make sure I keep the abomination in between me and the chieftain. And then the snipers jump down, and that gets a little hairy, so I drop back a little bit. So you can see right there, one sniper hit me. If the second one had hit me, I'd have been in a pretty sketch scenario. So I just drop out, blind this guy, not taking any crazy chances, and then get my sword, shoot a blinding nade, and finish off the abomination. So again, that part could be a little bit more optimized. I played it safe there when the snipers jumped down because it was a little bit risky. And then I was looking around for heavy ammo there. Alright, jump through this next area, go outside, and then jump on top of these crates. The fastest way through here I found is to then jump up on top of this thing. From there, up to the top of this little corner thing, and then you can jump straight to the door from there. And that saves you having to like do one extra jump. Alright, dropping down. Once you get into the door, head to the left, flip the switch, and then grab the buff. I do one shot with hand cannon into a melee. That pops up pretty fast. And then go through the next door. Watch out for the screeves as they jump down. You can flip the switch in time. And then on Hunter, I really liked doing a sniper shot there. Since I don't have a sniper now, I can't do like what I like to call like the high stress shot. You either shoot it or you miss and blow up. In this case, I tried to see if I could do it with a grenade and I couldn't. So again, this is kind of wasted time. If I were to go back and redo it optimized, I'd do it a little bit differently. Probably just like drop a nade where the screeves are all jumping down and then just let them burn up in it. But this time, not a big deal. Pop the fuse, jump straight up. And then after you flip the switch, you can just drop straight back down. You don't have to go through the other side. Pick up the heavy ammo, grab the buff, and keep moving. This next area, you'll see, again, blinding nades coming in clutch. And I just try to skip all the ads that I can. If they're blinded, you really don't have to worry about them a whole lot. But with Hunter, I would invis past everything in this room. And again, on Warlock, I'm trying to be a little more conservative because I don't want a Screeb to end up exploding and killing my run right here. You can finish them, actually. If you get them into finisher range, you can finish them and they won't explode. But it's a little dangerous if there's more than one, because while you're finishing one, the second one can hit you. So here, I drop a blinding nade on that guy. This could be so much quicker if I had just like popped Devour and sorted through everything else up there. But yeah, blind him, flip the switch, and then I go ahead and just kill this guy since he's already almost dead. Drop down, watch out for the turret. It will absolutely shred you, so I pop a blinding nade on it just to kill it, or just to get it to drop down, and then pop the fuse. Grab the buff again. Blind the chieftain, and just keep running. Get stuck on the roots. That I have a lot of trouble with the little root geometries. I seem to hit almost all of them. I pre-pop those two doors, then immediately go for the buff. Then you run through what would have been two doors and then head to the left. This guy you can just jump over, not a big deal. Flip the switch, go through the store, and then head to the right. And then you can grab the buff again and head back through this door. Next area, I drop my super here just to save some time. You can get rid of a lot of the Screebs and some of the other stuff. And then I kind of bait them around, use a blinding nade just to clear some space, give me room to run up and kill the Abominations with the sword. And I do have Devour running from the Nova Bomb, so I'm not too worried about these guys damaging me. Flip another switch, kill another fuse, grab another buff. Pretty straightforward. Alright, this next area, you can also save time here by running through and not killing the snipers. On Hunter, you'll see me run through it with invis, and then you don't even need the second buff to make it through. On Warlock, I didn't want to take that crazy risk, so I popped the buff there just to see how far I can get. But then I started looking at it, I was like, you know what, probably safer just to kill these snipers. So I take my time, run through, make sure they all die, miss a bunch of shots. This is painful to rewatch. And as long as you kill these two, you should be fine. At this point, you probably should just go ahead and kill the third one, though. You can likely get past him without a problem. I'm not sure how that grenade didn't kill him. I fluffed that one too. Get the bank shot. Kill the fuse to open the door, and then drop back. So again, if you want to go hyper aggressive, you can just try to get through there without even opening that second door. I didn't feel like taking that amount of risk because this is not meant to be a speed run, and I have plenty of time on the clock. I'll be going into the boss room with like over 11 minutes left, so I wasn't too worried about it. If you're strapped for time though, it may be a risk worth taking because you can barely jump through and then get through this this wall on the first buff. So it's an option. Check out the Hunter video if you want to see how to do that. All right, so we're to the boss. 11 minutes, not bad. Definitely not optimal, but you know, plenty of time. And you'll see how little damage I'm taking. I can out-heal the fire damage with Lament. And then here I pop Devour, use a blinding nade that completely misses. That could have gotten very spicy very quickly. Fortunately, I was able to get out of there. This is a safe spot after you kill the first chieftain. Then you can use this this corner, blind the next thing. Make sure you've got Devour running here. Go to the next corner, blind the last chieftain, and sword your way through. Alright, then 2 adds will spawn on each side, and 1 in the boiler room. So I flip the first switch, kill the Warmind cell, even though it does nothing. Kill those adds, flip the next one. And then going into the boiler room, another tip is you can guard with the sword to take less damage. So you can see here, I'm taking very little damage from the heat. Alright. Boss strat. If you drop a rift, he'll generally come to you, and then you can deflect his attacks and heal inside your rift, and makes the boss fight fairly simple. Especially, like, again, I'm running double solar resist here, so he cannot do much damage. After you do part damage, though, highly recommend switching targets, go for these chieftains, blind one and kill it, blind another and kill it, before over-damaging the boss. Because you don't want chieftains shooting at you while the basement is on fire and you're taking damage from heat as well. So there you can see I dropped the Nova Bomb and then killed the chieftains next. Alright, jump back up. Focus. I like focusing on this left chieftain first. Be very careful running out there, because if you get 2-shot by snipers, it'll kill you. I blind the guys up top just to give myself a little more space. Kill one of the snipers. I highly recommend taking out one or both of the snipers before you run out to kill this chieftain. And then make sure he's blind, because their fully automatic chain gun shotguns will absolutely melt you if you're running towards them. Blind and kill the last chieftain, pretty straightforward. Do the same thing with the 2 adds that spawn. And do the same on the other side with the switches. And you'll be going into second damage phase. Anytime I'm up here, I try to make sure I am at least 2 stacks of charge with light. So killing those guys, the 2 adds on each side with a masterworked weapon, gives you an orb of light, and if you're running taking charge, you'll get charged with light from those. So just try to check your charges with light before you drop down into the boss fight. You always want to be at least 1 or 2 stacks of charge with light before dropping down if possible. Alright, now look out for the boss. He teleports early sometimes, and that gets pretty spicy. Once you take out the adds down here, though, it's pretty straightforward, especially on a Warlock where you can drop a rift. So you'll see me half damage, then I start looking around to see if the chieftains are spawning. I ended up hitting a Ravager there instead of a chieftain. And then there I find the chieftain, blind him, take him out. Get farther away from the other chieftain so I can fire another blinding nade. Missed him, but got him with the second one, fortunately. Take out that chieftain. And now it's a much more manageable fight that I don't really have to worry about. Again, you can deflect with a sword, and that makes the boss's attacks do very little damage. You'll see here, I block. It does like maybe a third damage. And then drop a rift. Let him come to me, deflect his attack. Easy peasy. Deflect. There's not a whole lot he can do. Alright. For this damage gate, I'm getting towards the exit before I actually damage gate him. It's not too big of a deal either way. But adds will spawn up here, so reproc Devour, drop a blinding nade. I noticed the chieftain didn't spawn in time, or I didn't think he did anyway, so I make sure I use a second blinding nade. And then again, take cover in the back because I haven't killed snipers. Blind the stuff up top to give me an angle on these snipers on the bottom. Take out both of those snipers. Blind the top chieftain one more time. Go to the corner. Auto-loading holster for the win. Blind him one final time, and then take him out. Still charged with light times 4. Use the next corner. Bank shot a blinding nade. And then wrap up killing the rest of these Ravagers. Alright. Add spawn as usual. I've got plenty of sword ammo, so I'm fine just using some sword ammo. And I'm still charged with light, so I don't need the orbs of light on the other side. so I'm cool just killing them with Lament. These guys, you know, why not use a hand cannon when I've got it? It would have been nicer to have that Warmind cell in the basement to take out stuff, but, you know, whatever. Alright, so I've got my Nova Bomb, my Rift, and all kinds of other stuff for final boss fight. So I'm going to try to play it safe, not do anything too crazy. I'm saving my Nova Bomb to kill the chieftains when they spawn in case I get into trouble, instead of having to blind them. And I don't like being super close to walls, because if he smacks you into a wall, it can instantly kill you. So I try to get into the middle of the room, do that damage, see if the chieftains spawn. They are not popping up, but one of the little lantern dudes popped up upstairs. So I block, do a little bit more damage, and there's the chieftain. And then, so this is exactly why I saved Nova Bomb. I got tossed over to the chieftain, and it got a little hairy. So I can use the Nova Bomb. Procs Devour, so I'm now getting health, and it keeps me alive. And then there, right there, you'll see I have Devour and Sheltered by the Void now. So I can drop a Rift, and now the boss can barely damage me because I have the Healing Rift, Sheltered by the Void, and Passive Guard all working for me. My biggest regret during this entire run was not doing an emote right now, because I did that on my Hunter and it was kind of the iconic moment. And I easily could have just like sat down at the desk and had a coffee with the guy. But I completely forgot. So I almost wanted to redo the run just because of that. But then I was like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. So hopefully this was helpful. It is absolutely doable on Warlock. I really like Devour. Well of Radiance also works pretty well. I did it on Titan too. I was not overly impressed by my strategy with Titan because I just wanted to try using Strongholds. So I may try to re-record that one. And one last quick note is do not leave before the mission actually ends. It takes a really long time for it to actually register that you finished the mission, and you don't want to do all this work and then leave too early so that you actually don't even get the triumph. But if you have comments or questions about this, feel free to drop them in the video, and I'll do my best to respond to them all. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and you can absolutely get this triumph solo. So best of luck, and let me know if you get it. Thanks for watching, and catch y'all next time.